Hello everyone. Welcome back to my tutorial on the basics of rendering characters in C4D. This video will pick up on the aspects of HDRs and editing in Photoshop. There will be some speed art-like elements in this one to skip over the processes that take too long to do real time, like the rendering. Now let's get into this tutorial. First we are going to start with making the HDR using the sky. Let's make a new material and uncheck everything, then check on luminance. Click on the texture tab, then go select the HDR. If you do not have one, I left the one I am using here in the description. Wait for it to load, then close the material and insert a sky object. Now drag the material we had just created straight onto the sky object. Let's do a test render with the lights we created in the previous tutorial turned off. This will let us just see the light from the HDR and not both. Looks good. Now let's try it with the lights from the previous video on, and see the difference. It went away pretty fast, but it looked amazing. Now that is pretty much the whole scene complete. Let's head into the render settings and change the sampling rate to high to get the best result. Then we will render it. If doing a plain character render like this, make sure to turn on alpha channel in the save tab, or else you will be left with a background when you save. Now we render. Remember, with the high sampling rate the render will take longer. The overall time will depend on your own computer. Mine is pretty bad, so it will take a long time. This render looks amazing. You could be finished right here. But something I like doing is going around changing settings of my scene and just editing it to see if I can make it any better. You can do the same or just skip to the time posted on screen. This will be the speed art section of the video. I hope you enjoy. Here is my finished raw render. There wasn't much I eventually changed with the render, but I added a bit more reflection on the crown. Let's get rid of the light from our rim light in the background using the selection tool. There was still a harsh line around the black of the render and I wanted to make it a bit darker so it blends better. So I just used the eraser tool. In order to change the size of the brushes and the eraser like I do, just hold down Alt and move left or right. Moving up and down will change the hardness. It looks a lot better without that harsh line. Now let's add some highlight and bloom onto the crown using the brush tool. You guys most likely won't have the same character as me, but what I am doing here you can do to certain areas where you think it is needed on your own render. Brushes will be your best friend for shadows and lights. When doing bloom highlights like this, make sure to change the opacity and hardness down. Now we will do a full bloom effect onto the character. First, copy the character by pressing Ctrl J. Add a levels edit to the character, then create a clipping mask by right clicking. Now drag the slider on the left almost all the way to the right to where only the brightest areas show. Put the levels layer and the copied render on the same layer by selecting them both and pressing Ctrl E. Now drag the copied demon looking render on top of the regular render and add a gouache and blur by going into filter then blur. For the best effect, only go through the scale 1.0 to 6.0. I chose 6.0 for this render. Now once you have applied the blur, change the masking mode to screen and change the opacity if needed or desired. If you want a really cool showcase effect, group the two layers together, then copy it by pressing Ctrl J. After that, just transform it by making bigger with Ctrl T and change the opacity. Well, this is our finished render. I think it looks amazing with the shading, lighting, and posing. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments below. That is it for the tutorial. I hope this helped you out. If it did, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you disliked, go ahead and dislike. Also, you can also support me by following me on Twitter by the handle on screen now and link in the description. I am planning to host a giveaway soon, so be sure to look out for that. So that is it for today's video. I'll see you all in the next one.